the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and Chairman, Police Council, Your Excellencies, the Executive Governors here present, Your Excellencies, Head and Representatives of the Diplomatic Corps, Special Advisors to the President, Service Chiefs and their representatives, our revered Royal Fathers, the Chairman, Police Service Commission, Permanent Secretaries here present, retired Inspectors Generals of Police, my colleagues, Deputy Inspector Generals of Police, Assistant Inspector Generals of Police, Commissioners of Police, heads of paramilitary agencies, bishops and imams, our most valued sponsors and partners, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, senior police officers, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a deep sense of humility and strong optimism of a brighter policing and security future for Nigeria that I welcome Mr. President and other strategic security stakeholders across states of the Federation to this National Security Summit. The rich array of strategic stakeholders seated in this hall is a clear testimony to the renewed determination of Nigerians to make personal sacrifices in support of Nigerian police and other security agencies towards presenting a common front that will address those security challenges that are threatening our national values and development. Mr. President, sir, studies have shown that criminal strife and national security remains perpetually threatened in a country where there is a deep gulf between policing agencies on the one hand and the citizens on the other. Therefore, there must come a time in the life of a nation when all citizens must of necessity resolve to frankly engage with their police and build a strong synergy in order to defeat a common enemy. For us as a nation, there is no other auspicious time for this than now. Our gathering here today is therefore a clear and loud statement that the Nigerian people and their police are now determined to close up the gulf that weakens our common resolve, forge a united front, and advance hand in hand as true partners to confront the criminal elements that have been feasting on our hitherto disunited relationship. In so doing, Mr. President, this National Security Summit was conceptualized by the first leadership to draw on global practices, blend them with our national practices, with a view to evolving a unique national security and crime management model that will reassure citizens of the commitment of the federal government to address their security fears. Mr. President, sir, there are over 500 strategic security stakeholders here today. They are from diverse backgrounds, of various status, and from all the states of the Federation. It is our expectation that they will frankly and in the most patriotic manner engage the leadership of the Nigerian police force in identifying those factors that engender public distrust for the police and pitch the citizens against their police in a country confronted by terrorism, kidnapping, robbery, and other high-level crimes. Conversely, the force leadership, with the support of other security agencies here present, will also engage the participants on areas of concerns. The core objective is to challenge the citizenry on their roles within the security system and encourage the spirit of police community partnership as a strategy towards addressing our crime and national security challenges. In triggering the debate, permit me, Mr. President, sir, to draw inferences from citizens-driven policing models in other parts of the world that have experienced security challenges peculiar to us. In Kenya, faced with the challenge of cattle rustling, 2 villages formed a joint security system. They selected a commandant and an assistant and hired 5 police reservists. Some citizens donated vehicles and other kits, while the communities contributed to pay them little stipends. The police reservists worked alongside rangers employed by large-scale ranchers to repel cattle raiding, while the Kenyan police established a radio connection with the reservists and daily monitored and regulated their activities. Following these moves, cattle rustling declined remarkably in the affected localities. In southern Sudan, a market association in Yar arranged with the police that when any trader is arrested for any compatible crime, he or she is handed over to the association. The market association resolves the issue and reports their resolution to the police. The arrangement has been successful in preventing escalation of relatively low-level disputes, thereby reducing the burden on the police and the criminal justice system. In Uganda, another work-based organization, the Taxi Drivers Association, has an agreement with the police that allows the association to police taxi and bus parks in respect of traffic offenses, pickpockets, and other disputes between drivers and passengers, while exchanging criminal intelligence with the police. The police, on their part, offer the association's members training in crime control and prevention. In Sierra Leone, some communities in the south have established mechanisms for the peaceful resolution of conflicts. The Bo Peace Reconciliation Movement is a coalition of 11 community groups working on peace building, reconciliation, and crime prevention in the Bo districts. Its 20 local peace monitors have resolved many conflicts, such as family matters, fighting, land cases, and leadership issues. They handled 255 cases in 2014, and their work has reduced communal conflicts and litigation in the local courts. The success of this business has earned the commendation of the provincial administration in Bo. Similar citizen-driven crime arrangements exist in Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Liberia, while a corporate sector-driven model operates in South Africa. Back home in Nigeria, historically, our revered traditional institutions are known to be a strong control actors who have been deploying their grassroots reach and time-tested cultural frameworks for information collection and dissemination, crime detection, and dispute resolution at community level. Their strong knowledge of history, culture, and norms and customary practices, as well as their reverence by their subjects, are vital assets that could be tapped into to engender community-driven policing and address local and national crime and security challenges. Aside this, Mr. President, there is an ingenious model of community-driven crime management initiative that is noticeable in Plateau State. Faced with the incessant threat of insurgency and communal clashes, a community security arrangement in which Christians are engaged to secure their Muslim brothers and sisters during Jumite prayers, and Muslim brothers providing security for Christian brethren on Sunday church services was in place. In presenting the united interfaith and interethnic fronts to confront a common enemy, the innovative security model has remained potent in the management of the security challenges in the Plateau. Even more significant is the citizen-driven internal security model in the northeastern geopolitical zone of Nigeria, where youths, with the support of different components of the local community, volunteered to complement the states by forming themselves into vigilante and community defense bodies to defend their communities against terror attacks. The strength of the civilian JTF, as they are popularly called, lies not in the sophistication of their firearms, training, or pecuniary benefits, but in their exemplary courage, passion for their communities, and advantage of full understanding of the topography of their community. The civilian JTF also draws strength from their knowledge of the local population, such that they can easily identify and isolate strangers and locals linked to terrorism and other crimes. Furthermore, they have ability to generate quality communal intelligence that is vital to crime management and the war on terrorism. Fighting arm in arm with the military and complementing the anti-crime functions of the local police, these non-state policing actors have proven to be vital assets whose names will be written in gold in the rolls of honor when the counter-terrorism story of this nation will be written. Mr. President, the models enumerated above raise a number of critical questions which are germane to our gathering here today. Some of these fundamental questions are: 1. What lessons can we draw from policing practices in other territories to strengthen our policing system in Nigeria, particularly in relation to integration of the citizens to police and crime management functions? 2. How can we optimize the advantage of the social control mechanisms of our cultural and traditional institutions towards the enhancement of our policing system and national security? 3. How can we maximize the strength of our national media to galvanize community support for the police while not infringing on their rights for their fair news reportage? 4. Can we possibly involve a national framework that will recognize the potentials of community-based associations, professional bodies, vigilante, and other non-state policing actors within the crime management and national security architecture of Nigeria? How can the corporate private sector be galvanized to complement the federal government and the community in supporting the police in terms of funding intervention and criminal intelligence exchange, not necessarily as a corporate social responsibility, but as a responsibility that is genuinely driven by patriotism or nationalistic obligations? 6. Could a legal framework be involved to strengthen the obligation of local and state governments to policing and crime management? How can the broad concept of citizen-led policing be integrated into our national polity? What are the challenges and what options are available to addressing these challenges? Lastly, why have previous efforts aimed at reforming the Nigerian police force into a community-oriented, intelligence-led, and professional agency recorded limited success, and what lessons from the past can guide us into the future? In engaging these critical national policing questions at this summit, it is pertinent to emphasize to all participants that the reward of community engagement, consent, and partnership in policing are enormous. Indeed, from primeval days, policing has been built on the concepts of community acceptance and partnership. The challenges of technological advancement and globalization, which have combined to evolve a complex dynamics of crime, have even made it imperative for modern policing to be built on community vigilance and partnership. For the Nigerian police, the peculiar challenges of dwindling budgetary resources, inadequate manpower profile, weak logistic base to cope with the expansive nature of our mandate and jurisdiction, as well as the extent challenges of terrorism, are best addressed through citizen-driven policing model. This model, Mr. President, will ensure public ownership of the police, engender police accountability, and ensure citizen commitment to national security. It will address the manpower deficiency challenge in the Nigerian police force, as every citizen plays the role of a police officer with active stake in community safety and security. They naturally become the eyes and ears and most invaluable intelligence assets of the Nigerian police. The model will tap into our underutilized strategic security assets, symbolized by our traditional rulers, youth organizations, community-based associations, the media, women bodies, and religious associations. Most significantly, Mr. President, if properly engaged, the citizen-driven policy model will free police human, financial, and material resources which are deployed to the management of low-level crimes and ensure that police assets are optimally deployed to manage high-level crimes. It is in consideration of the advantages inherent in the community approach to policing and the need to develop frameworks for strengthening the engagement of this model as a strategy towards enhancing national security that this summit is convened. In considering the proposal for citizen-led policing framework, it is vital that the modalities for a sustainable funding strategy for the Nigerian police force be concurrently explored. This is because modern policing is a cost-intensive venture, but the benefits of a well-funded police far outweigh the value of the budgetary investment. For it is only through adequate funding that the huge logistic demand of the police can be met and operational efficiency assured. Through effective funding, the welfare needs of police personnel will be met, and the challenge of corruption that has eroded professionalism and public respect for police officers will be addressed. This rich assemblage of respected and vastly knowledgeable personalities is therefore encouraged to consider funding options for the police. In so doing, consideration may be given to the resuscitation and passage of the Police Trust Fund, bill which has been pending in the National Assembly since 2012. Like the Education Tax Fund, the bill seeks to tax corporate entities in order to complement the federal government in funding the police. If passed into law, it will give effect to the concept of public-police partnership while addressing the funding challenges of the police on a sustainable basis. Mr. President, sir, it is our wish that this summit is made a yearly national security and crime management engagement, while all commissioners of police and divisional police officers will be directed to replicate the summit in their state commands and division, as well as institutionalizing the concepts of citizens' engagement in policing at its grassroots level. It is also our expectation that the outcome could be developed into a national policing and crime management policy as a component of a broader national security policy for the country. I am confident, Mr. President, that this summit will identify pathways and will not only redefine policing in Nigeria, but will evolve a citizens' police force that will be a befitting legacy that your leadership will bequeath to this nation. I am also confident that with Mr. President's continued support, community partnership, and requisite funding, the lost primacy of the Nigerian police will be restored and citizen safety will be assured under your watch. Indeed, the recent diplomatic shuttles and engagement of Mr. President with the G7 countries have started yielding results in this direction. The UK, USA, and other countries and development partners have made funding and technical commitments in support of training and capacity building for Nigerian police force towards attaining Your Excellency new national security vision. It is against this background that I welcome, Mr. President, all our esteemed guests and strategic security stakeholders, and look forward to a fruitful summit. May God's divine protection remain over our beloved country. Thank you very much.